Welcome back. Hi, everyone. It is the B block now of Cannabis Coast to Coast News, and I'm Alaina Pinto. You might remember that when the state of Oklahoma opened up its cannabis licensing process in 2018 and eventually awarded over 4,700 licenses, the application fee was only $2,500 because the state wanted to make it easier for anyone to become a licensed grower or seller. Well, now, after hundreds of failures, many states point to Oklahoma as the perfect example of why oversaturation of licenses is not a good business practice, to say the least. New Mexico is now going through their own growing pains with as many as 1,000 licenses being issued since adult use started 2 years ago. The result is that the original medical operators like Minerva Canna and Ultra Health, who have been operating since the beginning of the medical market 10 years ago, are closing their doors since the majority of the market is now being dominated by the adult use consumers. While many of the New Mexico operators point their blame fingers on the regulators, perhaps the biggest reason for failure is based more on the limitations on marketing and educational messages, which have not led to any growth in the total market, and it just killed the medical operations. So, while some states thrive, most suffer as states move from medical only to adult use. Arizona was one of the first states to offer adult use licenses to their existing medical licensees, and that state continues to grow. And now a Scottsdale CBD company is cutting a deal with Walmart. Here is Karen Black with this week's Arizona Cannabis Report.
I'm Karen Black from Green Finger Consulting with the Arizona Cannabis Report for Cannabis Coast to Coast News. First up, CBD Life Sciences in Scottsdale announced a big partnership with Walmart. Their innovative products, including Nano CBD Coffee Creamer and CBD Pain Cream, will soon be available on Walmart Marketplace. The deal could significantly increase their brand visibility to over 120 million monthly Walmart visitors and potentially boost their annual sales by 35%. That would be on top of the 1,400% revenue increase the company has achieved since February of this year. Kudos all around. More good news. Arizona Natural Concepts, or ANC, is gearing up to launch a cannabis delivery service in January 2025. The company, which has several medical and adult use dispensaries in the Phoenix metro and surrounding areas, promises to bring you top-notch cannabis products whether you're at work, home, or play, as long as you're 21 or older and have a valid ID. But there's a catch. They can't deliver to hospitals or state parks. Go figure. Scottsdale-based Zone Properties just closed on a real estate deal in Surprise, Arizona for about $1.6 million. The site will become a new dispensary for Sunday Goods, its fourth in the Grand Canyon state. The deal is pushing the cannabis real estate powerhouse's rental revenue up to $3 million per year. Lastly, some Arizona cannabis executives gathered for an invitation-only dinner Thursday night in Phoenix. Interestingly, the event was sponsored by two telecommunications companies, perhaps signaling the industry's increasing dependence on technology or its growing acceptance as a real business segment. That's all for the Arizona Report. I'm Karen Black from Green Finger Consulting reporting for Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
Ohio continues to sell an enormous amount of cannabis now that their adult use market is open, but the total sales number is now more than 60 million in just under 2 months. But all is not entirely rosy in the Buckeye State as early market growing pains and town battles continue, as Christina Brisson reports in her Ohio Cannabis Report, now sponsored by Yellow Labs and available in over 40 dispensaries in that state alone.
In serene Springfield, Ohio, Ethan battles anxiety and persistent body pain. Seeking relief, he turns to Yellow Labs' Calm THC Cream, offering tranquility via delivery technology. Massaging in the cream, Ethan feels waves of peace and serenity easing his anxiety and tension. Empowered by the remarkable relief, he sets out on a journey towards healing and renewal. Drawn to Yellow Labs' transformative offerings, the Calm THC Cream becomes a beacon of comfort, soothing both his physical and emotional pain.
Hi again, everyone. I'm Christina Brisson with Over the Top Renovations with your weekly Ohio Cannabis Report with Cannabis Coast to Coast News. Well, football season is upon us, as I'm sure everyone's aware, and here in Columbus we're very dedicated to our Ohio State Buckeyes. So the Ohio Division of Cannabis Control wants to remind you that a non-medical use in public places is a minor misdemeanor and is prohibited to those under the age of 21. But speaking of those rules, I did want to touch base real quick on how they're not keeping us informed. If you go to the Ohio Division of Cannabis Control website and you go to the non-medical use fact, where you would obviously go to find answers to questions, right? If you go to that page and then you scroll down, there's a whole section for how do I stay up to date? And there's a whole click here button, make it easy and convenient. Well, let me tell you, it does not help you stay informed. When you click that here button, it takes you to the homepage of the Ohio Department of Commerce. Certainly not telling us anything about what is and isn't allowed, but we're going to go more into that later. Quick update on sales. As of September 14th, we're at 65 million, still going strong. And speaking of sales, we're welcoming a new dispensary to town. Reynoldsburg, who voted 64% to legalize, and who preemptively prepared in 2020 with new zoning laws to allow for non-medical cannabis use businesses, is opening their new location with certified cultivators on Livingston Avenue. On the opposite side of the spectrum, Delaware, on September 9th, in a 5-2 vote, has decided to impose a 6-month moratorium. But one councilwoman who voted in favor of not having a moratorium, Corey Hoffman, said, "I don't think we need any moratorium at this point. The state of Ohio is granting licenses, so okay, come do business in Delaware." I say smart man, because in Hubbard, where they've imposed their moratorium, they're losing all their sales to next door Warren and Youngstown. This is your weekly Ohio Cannabis Report. I am Christina Brisson with Over the Top Renovations and Cannabis Coast to Coast News. Have a great week.
The Ohio Cannabis Report is supported by Yellow Labs and BetterWaysToTHC.com. Search for Yellow Labs near me and find one of 40 dispensaries in Ohio carrying these amazing mists and creams.
Next door to Ohio is Michigan. And while many economic experts predicted that when the Buckeye State opened its doors to adult use sales, Michigan sales would suffer. So what do we think the impact of the first 7 weeks of sales in Ohio have done to Michigan? If you can believe it, sales have gone up. Prices are lower and inventory is higher in Michigan. And not surprisingly, so are the sales. In other states' news, Green State is making transactions easier for many cannabis companies, and now they have extended their services for the growing Indigenous communities. Here's Tina Tasaka in Nevada.
I'm Tina Tasaka with 420 Technologies, and this is the Nevada and Tribal Nations Report for Cannabis Coast to Coast News. GreenCheck has introduced new banking services to licensed cannabis-related businesses operating on Indigenous lands. This addresses a long-standing gap in financial services for cannabis businesses with tribal licenses, which have increased by 25% since January 2023. Historically, state licensing rules made it difficult for financial institutions to serve businesses on sovereign land. GreenCheck's platform now enables seamless onboarding for these cannabis-related businesses with future updates to include comprehensive regulatory rules. The Indigenous Cannabis Industry Association collaborated on this expansion, aiming to empower Indigenous communities through policy and outreach. The Nevada Cannabis Compliance Board has released revenue reports authorized by consulting firm TPMA regarding Nevada's cannabis market. According to greenmarketreport.com, dated September 25th, 2024. To summarize the findings, Nevada's cannabis market has seen a significant decline, with sales dropping from a peak of 95 million in April 2021 to around 68 million as of September 2023. A new state report predicts this downturn will reverse by 2030, driven by growth in the legal market and shrinking illicit market, currently valued between 242 million and 370 million. That's a big gap. Legal cannabis sales in Nevada reached 862 million in 2022, but the market still struggles with competition from illegal sales. Despite a 12% drop in licensed businesses, cannabis production surged in 2022 and 23, with monthly harvests nearly double those of previous years. Annual demand is estimated at 3.2 to 4.4 million pounds. Retail dispensaries increased from 84 in 2021 to 100 in 2023. And while growth is projected, federal marijuana rescheduling won't immediately create a national market. That's it for the national highlights Nevada highlights and tribal nations. I'm Tina Tasaka with 420 Technologies and Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
Hey, welcome to New Jersey's Coast to Coast Cannabis News. I'm Jill Goldsberry with the news in New Jersey. And here's what's happening. I have an update, a very special update on the case that we've been following with the 3 officers out of New Jersey's Jersey City area that were fired. They're called the Cannabis Cops now because they were fired for lawful cannabis use under the guise of PREMA, where they are allowed to use cannabis responsibly, off duty, obviously, and purchased from a legal dispensary. Veteran owned, even better. So the 3 officers, big news this week, the 3 officers have been reinstated according to the latest news in NJ.com. Officer Palenko, Officer Officer Manson and Officer Riley were reinstated this week. However, the reinstatement comes at a condition. They are no longer allowed to carry weapons as of right now. And I have had a brief conversation with their attorney, Michael Rubis, who's giving me a little bit of the inside scoop. And we're looking to have him or one of the officers on the news very soon. So expect some new conversation on that. And so I'm very excited for them. They have been reinstated. They were told to report to work this week, and they are, as I said, they're not allowed to carry weapons as of yet. In other news, we have Doobie's new dispensary in West Milford opening this weekend.
How do you feel about the cannabis rollout in New Jersey? And what do you think could be different, better?
I think that it's growing so quickly, and I think that everyone just needs to be ready to take opportunities and adapt to whatever's being thrown at them. I think something that we can definitely work on is packaging. I think that there's a lot of waste in packaging, so I think New Jersey can really focus on getting something a little bit more biodegradable or something just more earth-friendly.
Interesting. Okay, so sustainability is what you're concerned about right now.
Absolutely.
One of the things.
Absolutely.
Okay. I love that. Okay, thank you so much for that. And then, so how are you doing at NECAN? Are you having a good time?
NECAN's great. It's fun to see everybody. It's a big community in New Jersey right now because everything's still so small. Everyone kind of knows everyone or knows someone who knows everyone. So it's a lot of fun getting to put names to faces and just kind of all being in the same room. It's like a big friend reunion.
Yeah, and I know like you and I were talking, so now we finally meet in person. Yeah. It's like meeting people in real life. I know your dispensary's opening soon. Tell us, I know you're planning something big, so tell us about that.
Absolutely. We have a few big events coming up. We're in our soft opening now, so you can still come, but we're going to be at the Autumn Lights Festival in West Milford, September 27th, 28th, and 29th. Okay. We have a big VIP tent. We're going to have a bunch of brands there. They'll be giving out like swag and a lot of cool stuff. There's going to be entertainment. And then the following weekend, October 5th, is going to be Doobie's official big grand opening. So we'll have a bunch of brands there. We'll have entertainment, DJs, food trucks, you name it. It's going to be the party of the year.
All right. Yeah, I know there's an amusement park as well that's rumored to be.
Yeah, there's going to be a carnival at Autumn Lights Festival. So you'll see all of that. There's going to be like over 75 food trucks and bajillion vendors. It's all going to be just a big old party in September and October in West Milford.
All right. So West Milford, people in West Milford, come out end of September, early October. If you're in the area, come through to Doobie's.
And lastly, if you're in New Jersey, in the Hudson County area, you probably heard about Al Harrington's Viola Village opening in Hoboken. It was a big to-do. Lots of people came out, and so that is open. Hoboken now has an official dispensary that is celebrity owned. So we'll see how that works out there in Hoboken, New Jersey. I am Jill Goldsberry with New Jersey's Coast to Coast Cannabis News.
Okay, that'll do it for the B block, but we will go back to the West Coast next and check out our international block of cannabis news when Cannabis Coast to Coast News continues, plus a flashback to last week's Hall of Flowers where a record was set at 4:20 in the afternoon. Don't go away.
It's 4:20, y'all make some noise, let's go!
Yeah! Ready to take your craft to the next level? Imagine faster extractions, purer products, and more profits. Sounds good, right? At Pure 5 Extraction, we've revolutionized cannabis extraction with our game-changing technology. No solvents, no heat, just the cleanest, most natural process on the market. Whether you're a boutique grower or a large-scale operation, Pure 5 has the tools to elevate your business worldwide. Visit pure5extraction.com today. Pure 5 Extraction, because your plants deserve the best.
It's a whole new world of weed out there, isn't it? Everyone is learning new ways to titrate, ingest, consume, imbibe, and engage with this plant medicine we call cannabis. Now, let me tell you my cannabis story. You know, I've had 4 major surgeries in the past 23 years and suffer from osteoarthritis with a variety of metal parts in my body and one on deck. Now, thanks to those chronic pain issues, I've been a medical patient in Massachusetts for almost 10 years now. I remember my first trip to a dispensary just outside of Boston, and I told the bud tender I didn't want to smoke it anymore. So I tried edibles, then tinctures, then vaping, and now if I'm going to smoke, I only use the Weejits filtration system. What? The Weejits.com, Weejits, that's weed, W-E-E-D, G-E-T-S.com, is where you'll find the planet's coolest product that cools the smoke from everyone's favorite flower. The guy that started this was a pretty good medical device manufacturer, and he created this maze pipe that cools the smoking process from 1300 degrees Fahrenheit upon inflammation down to just 90 degrees when it reaches your mouth. That's right, 1300 down to 90. That's why this maze pipe is amazing. Now, add in the code of PCMTV and you get 15% off. So just go to Weejits.com and check out the best way to enjoy a cooler smoke with less coughing and hacking and more peace of mind.